Meet Daniel. He is 41, a senior director of product in Austin, Texas, clearing over $260,000 a year. To an outside observer, Daniel is the definition of success. He drives a leased BMW 5 Series, lives in a 4-bedroom house in a premier zip code, and pays $44,000 annually for private school tuition. But despite the international vacations and home renovations, Daniel has exactly $18,000 in liquid savings. His fixed monthly obligations, the mortgage, the lease, the tuition, total over $14,000. If Daniel loses his job tomorrow, his expenses do not pause. He is roughly 5 weeks away from a total financial crisis. This is the high-income poverty trap. In this state, an expanding salary is immediately absorbed by a heavier, more rigid set of structural financial commitments. A high income does not grant automatic safety. For many, it builds an invisible, self-inflicted financial prison. This trap begins with a status benchmark. We naturally measure our success against the people directly above us on the economic ladder, which triggers a perpetual feeling of inadequacy. Psychologists call this personal relative deprivation. It is the subjective state of feeling unfairly disadvantaged, regardless of how much money is actually in your bank account. Researchers Martino Angus and Shai Davidai investigated the consequences of this mindset using a dataset of over 90,000 respondents across 60 countries. This chart plots how different psychological states affect our view of the economy. Looking at the relative deprivation condition on the right, you can see a distinctly elevated median and a broad upper distribution. These baseline distributions under gratification and control are significantly lower. When people feel deprived compared to their peers, they adopt the belief that economic success is zero-sum, that one person's gains can only be obtained at another person's expense. The study confirmed this spike in zero-sum thinking persists across all boundaries of household income, political ideology, and social class. There are specific downward pathways here. Personal relative deprivation weakens the belief in a just world and leads individuals to view success as the result of external forces beyond their personal control. Comparing ourselves to the ultra-wealthy weaponizes our psychology. It turns the economy into a hostile, rigged system in our minds. A study from Columbia Business School that tracked millions of real bank transactions shows how this mindset changes our spending habits. The data shows a rational response among lower-income households. When they feel financially constrained, they cut discretionary spending, creating a clear downward trend line. Among wealthy individuals, the data flips. Feeling constrained triggers a sharp spending increase, specifically in high-status retail sectors like luxury brands. This is compensatory consumption. High earners use status-oriented purchases as a psychological defense mechanism to artificially restore a threatened sense of identity and agency. These emotionally driven purchases rapidly transform a high salary into massive fixed obligations. What begins as a discretionary choice becomes a rigid structural commitment. Many high earners are spending away their actual financial freedom to purchase the psychological illusion of status. Escaping the trap requires rejecting zero-sum logic. Personal growth is possible without defeating a peer. This process involves prioritizing liquidity, the stock of capital accessible during emergencies, over gross income flow. Automation bypasses the urge for compensatory consumption. Routing income directly into a locked savings vault eliminates the burden of a manual decision. Workplace data proves this works. Automatic enrollment results in a 37% increase in long-term capital retention. Reframe your measurement of success around internal progress tracking and increasing your savings rate. True financial wellness requires abandoning the game of lifestyle comparison to build an autonomous life you genuinely control.